Well, hello, hashtag nation. Hope I didn't come at you too hot with that. Paul, it's been a while, and by a while, I mean it's been a week since you and I have come on here and went live, and we're talking to everybody and doing what we do, basically, to talk to hashtag nation about the Buffalo Bills draft.
Yep.
So as I try to get everything lit up here, I hope everyone can see us because sometimes we are the land of technical difficulties, which is fine. Yeah, Hen Dog, long time no see. If we're going to get into a little bit about the subscriptions for you guys tonight and what entails everything that you get with all of that. I just had a great discussion with Hen Dog 24. We talked for about a half hour right before the stream where Paul came on. It was a great time talking to him, bouncing some Bill stuff back and forth off of each other. And Paul, it was actually. I'm loving, and we're going to talk about the channel membership stuff later, but I'm loving the fact of what we're able to offer hashtag nation and the things that they're able to get if they become, I don't know, what would you call them? Channel members, hashtag heroes, and all this stuff because of the benefit that we're going to it as well. But I just wanted, like I said, welcome hashtag nation in. If you guys didn't know already, we also have all of our stuff goes to iTunes and Spotify as well, and you can find it in the description. Everything is in there. If this is your first time here and you love Bills and NFL news, make sure you turn that red subscribe button gray and you hit the bell for the notifications so you can follow all of our stuff. We're going to start to hit it, heavy very, very soon because that's all we have time for right now. I mean, we have was there seven new players added to the Buffalo Bills, and if you would have told me, number one, they are much better right now than they were a week ago.
Right.
But we had a lot of fun with all the Rock Sports guys doing our thing with the draft. We're glad you all could join us for the live draft that we covered in day 1 and day 2.
Yeah, Drew's finally done talking, so we can do our own show.
He was so popular on our show.
He was very popular.
He was very popular. So we got the chat in the middle of the screen. You got Paul to your right. I'm on your left. Paul hasn't been here for a while, so I will let him finally get the floor and start talking.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Lots in Buffalo Bills news, lots of UDFAs. So I went back, and I'll be honest with you guys, we don't do this full time. So there are times where, like, I'm spending time watching Trey Adams, the offensive lineman from Washington. I don't exactly always have time to watch games from Washington. So, like, that's just one that, you kind of learn about a player after, in retrospect. But I spent a lot of time watching some Trey Adams stuff. I spent a lot of time watching, some of the late round picks that were brought in and some really cool stuff to talk about with them that I found and kind of how some of these UDFAs are breaking the mold a little bit of some of what we've seen the Bills kind of historically do the last couple of years in the UDFAs or undrafted free agents. So a lot of cool stuff there. But I do want to make sure that we get a shout out to Apex 00, Shivas Gold, Hen Dog 24, Donnybrook. Am I missing anybody?
Oh, you want to do that now?
Yeah,
let's do it now. Let's do it now. So everyone, since everybody's in here, let me just look at this really quick. For the 50 of you that are in here, thank you for joining us. We do want to, some of the membership perks that you have. So here's one of the perks that you have. The one is those of you that were subscribers already. First of all, on our practice squad, we got 5 levels. On our practice squad, we got Shivas Gold and Richard Smith. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. On our 55-man roster, we got Scott and Stefan coming in hot. Loved it. You guys are donating. That's pretty awesome. Pro Bowl selections are going to be Pierre Martinez and Tony B. Thank you guys for your donations as well. And our All-Pro selections, only one so far. Bryce Grange. And then our Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famers. We have Apex, Hen Dog, and Donnybrook. Donnybrook just joined today, so we thank him for his contribution. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, real quick before we go into the draft, let me go over some of the things that are going on because there was some confusion about what the channel membership gives you. First and foremost, and Paul and I couldn't be more happier to do this, the channel membership, 50% of all your subscriptions will be donated to the Punt Foundation. We're just tacking that on top of the $2,000 we donated or we raised before the end of last season. We're so happy to be donating 50% of the channel memberships going to the Punt Foundation. You guys are helping not only try to grow the channel, but more importantly, a great cause in the Punt Foundation. Like I said, we couldn't be happier to do that. But the other thing, whoa, Shivas, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you, man. No question. Coming in hot. Thanks for the shout out.
Whoa.
I may subscribe to a higher tier later. That is phenomenal. Thank you so much, Shivas. We're definitely going to get some Modelo with that bad boy. But
the Modelo was a good call, by the way. That was a good call.
It was an excellent call. It was an excellent call. But as we go on, as I'm trying to quickly explain the channel memberships, here's the thing: nothing really changes from the things that we give you on a week-to-week basis. So the Sunday drive, which examines the encompassing the team, the cruise control, which concentrates on the offense, drive-through, which concentrates mostly on the defense. Those 3 episodes will be given to you every week, just as they were. Anytime if you're a subscriber to the channel, depending on what tier you are, you're going to get an upgrade or a bump in how much content that you're going to get from us. So I think a lot of people were kind of worried that, oh, you're not going to have your stuff for free anymore. No. If you don't want a subscription, that's fine. You guys don't have to get one. You don't have to do it. But you get extra stuff with it. That's what we wanted to offer. So as far as it goes, like we said, I mentioned before, we have people that are on the 5 levels. There's a Practice Squad 55, Pro Bowl, All-Pro, and First Ballot Hall of Fame. Okay, now let me just try to quickly break down what all of those are. If you're a member of the Practice Squad, as you can see in the chat, Donnie Brook, Hen Dog, Rice, you guys got membership badges. You get photo and status updates and the exclusive gifts that you're able to rock. That's $2.99 a month. So if you want to do that, that's fine. You can do that. Like I said, half of your proceeds are going to the Punt Foundation. The 55-man roster jumps up a little bit to $4.99. You get, like you said, the shout outs in the videos, and you get early access to new videos. So what that means is that Paul and I film all of our stuff. Well, we're doing it on Friday, but we usually film it on Saturday when we're in the car. When we're able to get back in the car, we film them all Saturday. I pump them all out throughout the week. However, if you are a member of this tier, you get them all through the community tab. You get them all that night. So when I create them, you see them. So you don't have to wait till Tuesday and Thursday to get all the videos. That is the 55-man roster if you care to donate to that. The Pro Bowl, you get behind-the-scenes videos and something that we're going to premiere tonight, just for give you guys a little bit of a taste. Outside the hash, inside the numbers. Now, this is something that is going to be just primarily for our Pro Bowl selections that we have. Paul, the outside the hash is going to be me and my brother breaking down film for you guys, some things to watch when the Bills take the field inside of the field of play. And also inside the numbers, that's Paul's area. That's Paul breaking down salary cap issues, what to look for, why certain moves are made, the business of the NFL. So that is what you're going to get if you are a Pro Bowl selection. All-Pro, sometimes we have things that we talk about in the car that never get released because they're not really Bills-centric, but they do have an effect on the Buffalo Bills. So whatever unreleased footage that we may have, that's what we're going to do. And you also have access to a members-only live chat, which is phenomenal. We're going to get to. And if you're one of the 3 members so far that are the members of the Hall of Fame, Hen Dog, Apex, and Donnybrook, you get a members-only live stream, which goes through Zoom. So if ever we go live, like we are tonight, prior to the live stream, you get to come in and chat with Paul and I for a little bit for some Bills talk here and there. Tell us your feelings, tell us what's going on. All that other stuff. We're kind of working out the details, but for right now, we're going to do it through Zoom before we go live. I just talked with Hen Dog for about a half hour before the episode tonight. It was like a one-on-one conversation. Paul wasn't there, but he will be there in future sessions. I will drag him into them. But it was great. It's great to meet Hashtag Nation and have everything go the way it is. So those are the things. Now, whatever tier you're at, you still get all the perks of the previous tier. So if you're a Pro Bowl selection, you get everything on the 55-man roster, and you get everything on the practice squad as well. So you're going to have your name lit up. You're going to get the shout-outs. You're going to get behind-the-scenes footage and stuff like that. You're going to get all that stuff. So, and to show you what you get, this is basically what we have. We have something like this. So right now you're looking at the depth chart of the Buffalo Bills. We're going to go over that today. So those are some things that you're going to have. And like I said before, half of whatever you donate goes to the Punt Foundation. And then, we're gonna when quarantine and everything gets lifted, Paul and I are gonna donate a nice big check to them. So you're supporting a great cause as well. So we couldn't be happier to do that. So now that I'm out of breath, I will kick it over to my esteemed colleague. And you always get on me for doing promos, Paul, but I think I did that one pretty good. But
well, I'm just happy you kept your shirt on. Like that's normally your late '80s, early '90s wrestling promos that you end up cutting. It gets shirtless and sweaty.
Like you weren't a Hulk Hogan fan. Shut up.
Why are you all sweaty? I was watching Cops.
I was watching Cops. You're lying. Cops is in Commando 4.
Yeah, so what you see up is the Buffalo Bills depth chart. So kind of what we do is we take a look at, outside the hash, inside the numbers, is looking at the things that are happening on the field and also kind of looking at salary cap implications. If we're looking at a position, how is that salary cap going to impact this year? What are some free agent moves that might be out there? What are some trades that you could make? Like I saw in the comment section earlier, somebody had mentioned Trent Williams. Like, why weren't the Bills going after a player like Trent Williams? We could talk about all that stuff in that section because a move like that impacts later years. And that's where the inside the numbers thing comes in.
Yes.
So, and here, Mario, right. And Mario shows right now overthecap.com, which is my absolute favorite website for tracking. Yes. Thank you to Evan Anderson. Just joined the Hall of Fame first ballot. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, brother.
And G-Rock had actually just mentioned quick suggestions. All members should get together for one game. We've actually talked about that. And we've had long discussions about having our own tailgate party.
Yeah, we talked about it this past season about getting a beer. What was it? Beer tour.
Yep.
There's a lot of breweries in Western New York, and we're going to try to organize something like that. Obviously, the more members we get after we donate the money to the Pun Foundation, we're able to. And the biggest thing about getting that, guys, is that the biggest thing you could do if you don't want to get a membership, like we said, Paul and I would struggle with that for a while of actually putting that out to you guys. The one thing you could do is just get our name out there as much as you can. Like, just share the videos, tell people about it, say, hey, we got this Bill stuff and this and that. That's the biggest thing you guys could do for us, is just share it and tell other people about it, which is great. I want to thank Evan again. That was coming on in. That was pretty awesome. So part of the reason why we're doing this is because you guys have earned this stuff. You guys have supported us for so long that we want to give you the best content that we possibly can. And that is the reason why we're doing this. And we want to just keep delivering it. And that's really the reason why we want to do this. So you guys have been good to us, so we're going to try to give you our best as well. So that all being said, us being as far into the stream as we are, Paul.
Yeah.
With the draft picks.
Yep.
Okay. With the draft picks going on, what is something that stood out to you as far as the picks? I know the elephant in the room is probably Jake Fromm, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I did a stream the second day of the draft. It was early in the morning. I was on my way to go get pizza, support a local restaurant. So I was in the car and I just popped on the phone and did a real 15-minute live stream, just 5 players that I thought could be targets for the Bills in round 2 and round 3. They didn't draft any of them. That's okay, right? But at the tail end, I was like, don't be surprised if the Bills are really in on Jake Fromm, because you take a look at why they love Nathan Peterman, and then you look at Jake Fromm and go, well, they're kind of the same guy.
What?
They're kind of the same guy here.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Kind of the same
they
guy.
Both played college football? Is that your comparison?
Well, God. You look at the career arc, right? If you're looking at the projection, people look at Jake Fromm as being, a career backup, right? They're not looking at him like a true competitor for the job. But he's sort of like a, not to say Trent Edwards, not to invoke the spirit of quarterbacks past, but a guy who come in, play for you for a little bit, right? Isn't going to make a ton of mental mistakes, because in Georgia he did a really good job, dictating that offense. But the fact that they went from isn't really too much of a surprise. He was a guy that was tumbling down draft boards. A 5th-round quarterback is normally somebody you can cut and slide onto the practice squad later. So it wasn't really that big a surprise, honestly. I mean, maybe I'm alone there, but it wasn't really that big a surprise.
I think you're alone in the Nathan Peterman comparison.
I don't know.
Hey, I stood next to and interviewed Peterman. I wasn't impressed. I interviewed him, and my buddy asked me who's the quarterback and who's the guy interviewing him. So that just goes to tell you about about Nathan Peterman. I you know, it was great because I had a discussion, like I said, with Hen Dog right before the live stream, and I was looking at a lot of the numbers that were going on, and we always marvel at Brandon Beane's ability to stay ahead of the curve, ahead of positional need, and a lot of the things that are going on. So probably this would probably be the best time to go to this. We look at let me get to his deal here. You look at Matt Barkley, okay? Because we always talk about staying ahead of the positional lead. What's going on? Matt Barkley is only on the hook for 2020. He's going to be 30 years old. So you're going to have to pay him. I mean, he'll be off the books in 2021. So what do? You try to get a guy in here that could be a suitable backup on a rookie deal when you have so many other positions that you have to pay for. I think that's an amazing move by them. I think it was a no-brainer that, even though we didn't mention it, I didn't take an in-depth look at what Barkley's think. But you got to realize, and I'll ask you this, Paul, what is the going rate for a backup quarterback on the market right now?
Yeah, we got it. You got him for a song at $2 million.
Yes.
Just go ahead and pull up Chase Daniels' contract. Chase Daniels making like $9 million to be a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
That's Barkley. Unfortunately for Barkley, he was kind of a reclamation project, right? Like he had bounced around a little bit. Teams just didn't see any value there. And really, this is league minimum. What he's making is basically veteran league minimum, a little bit more than that. But you got him for a song. And if you're going to try and be, cap conscious, not spending on your backup quarterback is a really smart thing to do. You save a lot of money there. You could save $5-6 million a year by just not paying a backup quarterback a ton of money. And you already have Davis Webb on the roster, right? He's on a futures contract. You have Matt Barkley. You just drafted Jake Fromm. So there's enough youth in that room to keep the cost down, whether you decide to keep Barkley or not. I mean, the Bills could go with 3 quarterbacks this season. Now that the rosters are at 55, and the game day rosters are going to expand a little bit to integrate those practice squad players, you might see 3 quarterbacks dressed. You might see 3 quarterbacks on the 55.
Isn't there a loophole in the roster where they had something like, okay, before when it was the 53-man roster, but you could have 3 quarterbacks and it wouldn't count against your roster?
Yeah, the emergency. Yeah, it was the you could, the 3 quarterbacks you could dress. Yeah, the emergency quarterback position.
Is that clause still in there with the new CBA?
I don't know. I don't think that got renegotiated, so I think that's probably still there.
Okay, so
that wasn't anything that the players complained about. It wasn't anything the owners complained about. So I have a feeling it just probably snuck in there.
Yeah, I think it's so. And don't quote me on this, but does it make it okay? It's 56. It's no harm, no foul to put him on there, which is. I mean, my thought about this, because a lot of people were bringing up Andy Dalton and the money that you would take for Andy Dalton and what he would want, because he still thinks he can play in this league at a level that would require a 3 or 4 year deal, even as a backup. But the money that you save by not signing Andy Dalton and you draft a rookie who has, notably a high IQ, has played in some big games. He's played a lot of games in college. A guy that you're not going to have too much of a fall off. Now, I'm not comparing Fromm to Allen in that respect. But what I'm saying is, okay, the way that Allen plays the game, you're going to have a backup who is very smart and can make the throws. And I think Fromm can make the throws in this style of offense.
That I agree with, 100%. If we're talking about a different offense, that's probably why Fromm is where Fromm was, right?
If he's in Green Bay, he's not surviving.
Exactly. That's what I mean. But in this offense, makes a lot of sense. Now, mind you, this offense is predicated on the future of Brian Daboll. So this draft pick right now, we could be talking about saying this is a really smart pick. And then next year, for some ungodly reason, they bring in Mike Martz, and you're like, well, that was a wasted draft pick. Anything's possible. But for right now, circumstances standing where they are right now, Fromm's a heady player. He does a lot pre-snap, and he does more pre-snap than Allen did in college. He's way more seasoned.
He's much more seasoned than Allen coming out, which is the thing.
Absolutely.
Which brought me to the point where, okay, we're going to get a guy here who can understand the offense, grasp the offense, and he's on a rookie deal, so you're not paying him anything. Next year, Barkley goes off the books. Barkley's done.
Yeah.
So then you have Fromm and you have Allen. Like you said, you still got Webb on the practice squad. they're costing you, all your 3-year quarterbacks next year are costing you nothing, which allows you to allocate money to other areas of your team that you're going to need it.
Right.
So that's the offensive side of ball. That's I think is the biggest draw going on with Jake Fromm is it was a business decision. And can the guy play? The kid can play. Am I saying he's going to usurp Allen? No. Because I don't think that's why they got him. They got him. You know what? You get an insurance policy for your car. You don't expect to get in an accident. Okay? But it's still there if you need it. The way that Allen plays the position, you do need a heady quarterback that can take care of business in there. And the biggest thing that they always say about NFL quarterbacks is that you want them to at least get you a 500 split. You know, if you're starting quarterbacks out for 4 games, can this guy get you to 2-2? And I think Fromm can, from all the stuff that he has, I think he can get you to 2-2. So, and like you said, you know, this offense, he can survive and thrive in this offense.
So a couple things. First off, Believers Talk says, so that's Joe for those of you guys. If you're not subscribed to Joe, go subscribe to Joe over at Believers Talk. He goes, there's going to be some QB needy teams. Remember, the Bills got a 5th for A.J. McCarron. During that time, Rick Beam, welcome to the practice squad, my dude.
Yeah,
welcome.
Yes.
Enso mentions the Bills wanted Johnson, which again, adding any depth to the position just makes sense, right? I mean, it really does. Yeah, absolutely does. And Mighty Buffoon says Jake Fromm threw for more TDs for the Georgia Bulldogs than Matt Stafford did. And John Calvin mentions weak arm QBs can succeed in this offense. Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. But we're not looking at any sort of quarterback controversy here. That's what bringing Fromm in does, is it gives you the option that he can play if you need him to. He's a quarterback that's always going to be prepared. And really, I kind of laugh when I think that a player like Matt Barkley is going to be making more than James Winston this upcoming season. So that just makes me chuckle.
Oh,
right?
There was a lot of stuff going on about that.
Oh, God. Winston's a mess. Winston's a mess.
Well, I mean, he took the deal. So it's not like you can get so upset about him taking that deal. He took the deal. Donnybrook comes in. He said he might be good trade bait in the future. You never know. Fromm could be definitely good trade bait in the future. And if Dable decides to move on, I know people are really torn on Dable, and I understand that. However, if he decides to move on, he was here when Fromm was drafted. He may be a guy that might want Fromm in the future. You know what I mean? So we don't. You know, you could look at a Brian Dable offense next year or in a couple of years that has Matt Barkley and Jake Fromm on it. So I'm not predicting anything. I'm not trying to say any stuff like that. But staying ahead of positional need and covering yourself on the business side of it was the Fromm pick, I believe, at its core. And I think the Bills did very, very well with that. It definitely turned some heads for people in Buffalo, and I understand that, which is fine. I mean, this is the time that we have to speculate all this stuff. I mean, Bean did such a great job with his staff and everything else, acquiring talent throughout the free agency period. Was that he had the draft to play with, and that's probably why you didn't see a lot of moves, because he already filled so many holes on the offense and defense. He's like, listen, you know, we're playing with house money, which brings me to Tyler Bass.
Whoa, the kid's got a cannon for a foot.
He's got a rocket in his foot. Is this a direct message to Stephen Hauschka?
I mean, it's not like they haven't flirted with other kickers. You know, they chased McLaughlin. They cut him. Then they tried to get him back, and he kicked around the league. You know, he's kicking right now. So it's not like they were sure. You know, it's not like they weren't looking for somebody. But I'll tell you what, that kick from 58 yards at the Senior Bowl practice, where he hits the middle of the upright from 58, like, that's impressive.
That is
like
terrifying.
that thing was good from 67 yards. Now, I get that's not what happens in Buffalo. To survive as a kicker, you need to really understand wind direction, right? Like, you do not survive in Buffalo without understanding wind direction. So I'm sure there's going to be a pretty big learning curve to that. With that being said, you know what? I was actually a little pissed that they didn't draft a punter. Like, I know I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the undrafted free agents. I'm like, oh, there's going to be a punter on the list. There's got to be. When I running back, tight end, O-line, defensive back, safety. I was like, what the hell? Like, we need a punter. We need a punter.
Anyway, I don't.
Am I wrong? Come on, I'm not wrong.
Listen, maybe they're so optimistic they're not going to have to punt in 2020. Don't look at me like that. Don't give me the dad look like I just broke something in the living room. So anyway, no. What I decided to do is we're on the split screen again, and we're going to go inside the numbers once again. We have Stephen Hauschka's contract up on overthecap.com. He is signed through 2021. This year it's a wash if you cut him. It's 1.5 dead money. It's 1.55 cap savings, so it's a wash. Next year you save $2 million while taking a $625,000 cut. Not directly related to the Matt Barkley, Jake Fromm type of deal where you're giving yourself a suitable. You think you're giving yourself a suitable backup that is of equal or greater potential. But now you got Hauschka on the hook for 2021. Probably if you went through the archives of Buffalo Bills individuals people that cover the Buffalo Bills, you could say that Hauschka was probably his only hiccup in Beane's tenure, like extending Hauschka due to the performance that he had. Now, you drafted a kicker. It's not like you signed one in free agency. You used a draft pick on this kid.
Yeah.
Are the days of Stephen Hauschka in Buffalo finished?
I don't know,
put you on the
man.
Spot, but it does seem.
I don't know. They might be. They really might be. Yeah. Listen, right? He got his extension. Things just kind of have been a little bit downhill since his extension. Yeah, they really might be. His field goal percentage has gone down every year since this extension. I mean, it's really looking that way. And if you're the Bills, you get prepared like this. Like, remember, when you draft a player, you're giving yourself dead money if you're cutting him, right? He's going to cost you money to get rid of, right? So when you draft a player, you're making a financial commitment to keeping them. And if you cut them, they cost you money on the cap to get rid of in a penalty format. So there's a commitment here. Now there's more of a commitment probably to get rid of Hauschka. Off the top of my head, I don't think his signing bonus was very big, if much at all. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very possible. Hey, you know what? Maybe with the 55-man roster spots, maybe we will see the kickoff specialist again. I'm kidding. I will drive to your house this late at night and fight you. I'm joking, obviously.
The kickoff specialist was mentioned in the chat as well.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
That was beautiful. I don't think you're going to have a kickoff specialist. You do have another guy who's on a rookie deal, very manageable. I don't know if, like I put you on the spot with it. I don't know if Hauschka's days are done. I mean, but Allen's too, like, you remember watching the Embedded series last year, and it was Hauschka and Barkley that were out with Allen, and they might not be here this year.
Right. Don't hang out with the quarterback. It's a kiss of death. But as far as Hauschka is concerned, just to talk about the numbers real quick, because he signed first off, he's 35. Not that matters all that much for a kicker, but if you feel like it does, that's something important to know. So he's going to be 35. 70.
What are you talking about?
I know, right? All they got to do is just give him his baby aspirin in the morning and send him on out there.
His Ensure.
But Hauschka signed for 2 more seasons. So he's on the hook for 2020 and 2021. If you're going to cut him, it's going to cost you $1.5 million against the salary cap. Now, mind you, that's basically cutting his cap number in half. So you are saving $1.5 million to cut him. So it's going to be whoever's the best kicker, but the rookie's not going to have an advantage in the wind in Buffalo. That's kind of where I'm curious to see how they go about the kicking competition. Is that going to be determined in training camp at St. John Fisher, or are they going to be at New Era kicking in the stadium to make that determination? Because if you're at St. John Fisher, that's a lot different than Orchard Park.
It is very different.
It's very different.
But I got to take a pause for a second because William Lane came in the chat. He said, make Allen hang out with Lee Smith then. is beautiful. That is hilarious. Yeah, we had just to break for that. DLC comes into chat as well. We had somebody come in the chat while we were waiting. We were in the waiting room before you got in here and everything, and they're like, "Do these guys actually answer the chat or they ignore everyone?" And I thought that was kind of funny. I was talking with Hendog about that, and I was like, I don't think we ignore anybody.
No, we try not to.
We try not to. Some of them. I
saw the question. Tyler Bass went to Georgia Southern for. Somebody asked where he went. I mean, Bass is a player that if you try and waive him to get him onto your practice squad, he's going to be gone, right? Like you're going to have a Chase McLaughlin situation where he might slip to your practice squad, but he can be signed off of that practice squad at any moment if he doesn't clear waivers. Any other team can sign him to their active roster if he's on the practice squad, and you just don't say no to a leg like that. We know it's all a matter of time before Cincinnati goes through 4 kickers this season, like they do every season. So it's really just a matter of time before he gets picked up.
Yeah, it would. And I mean, that's what's so interesting about the picks that the Buffalo Bills did. They were luxuries. Did you have to draft a quarterback? No, but you're staying ahead of positional need for next year, and you got a guy on a rookie deal. Hauschka, not sure about him. Okay, let's get this guy that has a freaking rocket in his foot, and maybe put some. I mean, someone said it in the chat. Put some. Y'all ignored me and didn't answer my question, Jordan Sinikowski. I apologize, Jordan. Throw it back up there again, and I'll do it. But you got a guy that's putting pressure on him. But now you have basically your first-round pick, Stephon Diggs, improves your offense. AJ Epineza improves your defense, and Hendog and I hinted to this a little bit. And let me go back to overthecap.com to show everybody this, which is so interesting because everyone is on the cut. Trent Murphy, save all this money, put it towards somebody else. I will guarantee you that if you cut Trent Murphy, he will be a free agent for one day. He'll go on another roster immediately. So if we're going, you want to go inside the numbers again. Now, I wanted to show you that because this is Jerry Hughes' contract. Okay, you sign Mario Addison for 3 years. This year, if you are able to trade Trent Murphy, get him out of the AFC. Okay, just do that. You save $8 million. Yep. Next year, Jerry Hughes, 2.1 dead, 7.35 saved. If you cut him. We're going to have the same discussion with Jerry Hughes in 2021 on May 1st. I guarantee you we're going to have this discussion. Well, just cut Hughes. Essentially, Hughes, you can't cut him right now. He's got the dead money bomb would eat up everything that you want to roll over. Yeah. Hughes has to play this year like he's in a contract year. No?
Yeah. I mean, when you draft AJ Epineza, again, that's sort of a, hey, FYI, we're going to continue to keep addressing this position. And I'm not really convinced that, that Boshawn Joseph isn't going to end up moving down to end either. I'm not really convinced that he's not going to make that move. So I just look at the player that he is, and he's a really solid forward moving linebacker. And those are guys that you use in a lot of blitz packages. And he's a big kid. He's not Matt Milano. He's not, he's not these undersized linebackers. He's a big boy. So I'm not convinced that you're not going to see him, trolled out in a defensive end type role as a blitz specialist, early this season. So I really think that's a very likely possibility. I did see Jordan Sinikowski's question asking over under on the Bills record. Bills record more or less than 10 wins.
And I unfortunately am infected with a virus, but it's called the Paul I'm too stubborn to change my mind virus. And
been there.
Usually because you guys know, you guys have been in the nation long enough. When Paul makes a point, he stands by it no matter what kind of thing. That's not many people are like that, which is a great quality. But if everything that's going on around it, he doesn't care. Okay. And all this other stuff will go on. I said 9-7 before the draft. I said 9-7 in the midst of free agency. I will continue to say 9-7 and get beat up every day by everybody. And I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable in my skin to get beat up for saying 9-7 because I still think the gauntlet is with the Wests. Playing both the Wests is awful. And I understand. We've had all these new additions to the team. We don't know how they're going to be on the field. I'm excited to go to Fisher this year and see how they perform on the field. I can't wait if they do go. Paul, I believe you said 11-5, correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So you said 11-5. So this is going to be a year-long bet that we're going to have. Is if they win 11 or more, you win. If they win 9 or less, I win. 10-6 is the push. Yep. We didn't do that on purpose. We hashtag nation. So I think, but the caveat that I threw in there was 9-7 with winning the division, because there's some, you got to admit, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots. Well, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots, in that order, improved their rosters as well, really well. They did. I believe that they did. Mighty Buffoon comes in 11-4-1. Rafi says 11-5. Daniel says, or DLC says 9-7. Brett says 9-7. Win the division with a question mark. Yeah, I believe it does. John Calvin 11-5. Shiva 11-5. Sill 10-6. G Rock gets 12 wins. Daniel Gary's 11-5. Yeah, you know what though? I want to be wrong. However, that's just at this point in time. That's what I think. I mean, that's 16-0 Donnybrook. I'll take that too. I will take that too, no doubt. Apex is 10-6. But circling back, William Lang 6-10, still winning the East. I just think the gauntlet's too tough at this moment. Now it could change. A lot of things could change. Rudy going 10-0-6. Wow, dude, I would bet that in Vegas. I would definitely bet that in Vegas. Tying 6 times. Paul, you hit your mute button again, buddy. Oh, God. See what I have to do? You see what I have to do, ladies and gentlemen? This is what I have to do. While he gets his thing,
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you can.
All right.
Mario sounding stubborn, DLC. Yeah, that could be it. That could be it.
I saw a question from DLC about Brian Cox Jr. I'm not seeing a lot of impact here. I think the name and the middle finger is the only thing that's making this kind of poignant. And it's not his middle finger. It was his dad's. Are we surprised the Bills signed a player from Carolina from 2017? Raise your hand if you're surprised. Right. I mean, it's like we're talking about a guy who's never played more than 20% of defensive snaps. He's got like 4 blitzes to his career. Blitz attempts, right? Like 7 hurries in his career. Like, this is depth. I'm not seeing anything here. Like Bills are his 3rd team in 3 years. Like 3rd team in 4 years, excuse me. I'm not seeing anything here. I'm not seeing anything here.
Hey, just want to give an announcement real quick. We got 93 people in the chat, 31 likes, and 2 new members. So congratulations and welcome to the 2 new members that we have of Hashtag Nation. Thank you for joining. Where you're going to get what's trending now and trending later. I can't wait to start talking about our episodes that we have to go. We're going to be, we got about 20 minutes left on the live stream. Hashtag Nation, thank you for joining us. Those of you that have become new members as well as the new channel members, if you could rewind the video when we're done, you can see all the perks that you're going to get now, and also in the description as well. We got stuff. We're on Spotify and iTunes as well for some of you guys that like doing the streaming as well. So Paul, going into, let me find this. You got Zach Moss, Gabriel Davis, and Isaiah Hodgins. Okay. And Dane Jackson. We talked about Jackson. I think are we doing a show on Jackson this week?
Yeah, we'll do a show on Jackson. There's a really, really good clip out there on YouTube of Dane Jackson going against Isaiah Hodges. And it's a fun clip to watch. Yeah. Because Hodges just absolutely torches the DB opposite Dane Jackson, and then an injury happens. Dane Jackson ends up having to cover Isaiah Hodges and really does a great job of shutting him down. So he's going against Gabriel Davis. Excuse me. The game's against it's Gabriel Davis against Dane Jackson, and it's a
Okay.
lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun. It's only about 7 minutes long because it's only offensive / defensive snaps. So
Yep.
it's quick and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the and I mentioned it too. Right when they posted, right when they drafted Hodges, I think we talked about it. Or I tweeted it out or something. His his 3 cone drill and 20-yard shuttle were faster than Singletary's at 6'4" with Hodges. That's the guy that I'm infatuated with at this point. Hodges, I am telling you.
Really?
Here's the thing, and we talk about this all the time, and we've gone over this quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Your first through third rounders are your starters. Okay. Fourth and fifth are guys that, okay, with a little bit of coaching, or fourth rounders, a little bit of coaching, okay. Fifth, sixth, and seventh are guys that are very intriguing to you that, well, let's get him in camp and see what he's about. I think that was, the fifth rounder was Milano. I think, okay, he's undersized, but he's from Boston College. McDermott and Bean have familiarity scouting Boston College. If you don't believe me, Google Luke Kuechly. That's what they do. So then he comes in and he ends up performing, and he ends up having the tools needed to play the position that they wanted. That's how you hit on draft picks that are late. That's what you end up molding them to your system, and the system is so crucial. You look at a kid. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with him because you have a guy who's at 6'4" and he has quicker movement than your running back. Now, in this offense, you and I have agreed many times, you have to get in and out of your cuts. This offense is heavily predicated on a route runner. You need to get, and now at that size, if they're able to work with him and he's able to pick up the nuances of the position, I'm so intrigued by Hodges. But you're more intrigued by Davis, correct? And you're muted again. He's adorable, isn't he?
I blame you.
Why are you blaming me?
I blame you. I am definitely more in on Hodges. Like with,
you
I
are?
was more in
Okay.
on Dave. No, more in on Davis than Hodges.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I just pulled up
yeah,
his
definitely way
combine
more.
and stuff. So
Yeah, way more in on Davis than Hodges. And I see comments about how Bass is a punter and a field goal kicker. Bass only has 5 collegiate punts to his career. So I would not call Bass more of a punter than a kicker. Now, mind you, his 5 career punts, he had 2 in 2017 and he averaged 49.5 yards a punt. And he had 3 in 2018 and averaged 47 yards a punt. So it doesn't look like they were asking him to do anything but make ball go far, which is fine. But I wouldn't call him more of a punter than a kicker. He has punted before, but it honestly is not uncommon to see field goal kickers in college have a handful of punts along the way too. It's not that uncommon.
William Lang just said, wish Paul... He was muted for talking about Duggar and Claypool. I'm just upset to have to see Duggar twice a year now. It's just bugging me.
Don't worry about it. He'll be cut in a year.
No, he won't. That kid's hungry.
Can we thank Colin Cowherd for actually saying that, just call it what it is. Belichick is not good at drafting. That's it.
Because he takes volume.
Not good at drafting.
Because he takes volume.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
rather than try to hit on 1 second-round pick, he'd rather have 3 fourth-round picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not? It's cheaper. You cut him, doesn't matter.
That's true.
He's been doing that for 20 years. What's so bad about that? Well, I mean, you got to think about it, though. For 20 years, he hasn't drafted higher than like 27th.
Yeah, when they get a pick,
Yeah,
it's not taken away.
Not taken away for cheating. Hey, we got a Super Bowl ring. What did we lose? A draft pick. We don't care.
Well, yeah, but they don't take away their 7 compensatory picks that they get every year.
Because they lose these guys. It's crazy.
I know.
I think people are going to stop drinking the Patriots Kool-Aid though after this year. I mean, they're not going
Maybe.
They're not going to start signing guys off of the Patriots to try to get a
Skarnecki is gone. You know, it's anything's possible. Anything's possible.
I find it interesting that Skarnecchia leaves and then Brady doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, that's like when that's like the one guy who knows exactly the time to leave the party. He's like, yeah, it's about that time. I'm gonna get out of here.
Is that guy doing a headstand? Yeah, I'm out of here. All right. Okay, so.
And Doug wasn't Doug or the dog's pick.
Oh God. So if we were to look, let me look at this real quick. So if we go back to the draft. Watch Skarnecki go to Tampa. Oh no, Steven. No, he will not. He's done. So so we talked about Bass. We covered Hodges a little bit and Davis. You and I will do episodes on Hodges, Davis, and Jackson because you and I seem to stand on opposite points with Davis and Davis and Hodges. Those will be 2 episodes for this week. We're not ending the stream. I'm just telling you guys. We're brainstorming out loud. This is what we do. So now we come to Zach Moss.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pick, hate the pick, and why?
I really like the pick. I really do like the pick. I know you don't, right? I know you don't.
When did I say I didn't?
For about 4 hours after the draft, I heard you screaming into your pillow from all the way out here in Lockport. It was very apparent that I wasn't sure if you.
Joke's on you, Paul. I sleep on a bed of rocks. I don't have pillows.
I wasn't sure if you hated the pick or hated the placement of the pick, right? So that's where I kind of got caught. I like it because the one issue that you had last season was you had Frank Gore and Devin Singletary, who couldn't really be any more different, right? From their current skill set. Now, Frank Gore 15 years ago and Devin Singletary now, I think a little bit more of a compliment, right?
Yes.
But Frank Gore now, Devin Singletary now, it was very apparent what the Bills' offense was doing when either was in there. I think Moss gives you the opportunity to kind of keep similar game plans no matter what happens. And they love to drop to 5 wide sets. And now, you have 2 backs that you could still drop to a 4 wide set and a single back. I think that kind of opens things up a little bit. You come out in a 2 back set. Look, the Bills haven't really ever done that, but it's a really popular thing, especially if they're going to try and still use that pre-snap motion. 2 back sets are really dangerous with pre-snap motion. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But I think the skill set between Moss and Singletary are similar enough that the game plan doesn't have to change that much. I am a little worried about Moss in pass pro. Singletary surprised me last season with how good in pass protection he actually was, but I didn't see a ton from Moss that I really liked in pass pro. So
I don't think we saw a lot from Singletary either.
No,
in college.
No, I agree.
He took to it like a fish to water. I mean, Singletary's pass pro. I mean, I was going over some old games since we're on quarantine. And it was phenomenal. He was phenomenal in a lot of the things that he was doing. Moss, to me, it's great that you bring up the point that you don't have to change your offensive philosophy if he comes in the game for Singletary. Now, the greatest part that I like about it is you think about what the Buffalo Bills did in this draft. They were playing, I want to say, I'm not making the pun now, so Daniel Galleries, don't get on me for this one. They're not playing with they were playing with house money in what they could do. Now, I thought that drafting a running back in the 2nd round would send a message, and I didn't like how that would play out. Now, if you draft a running back in the 3rd round, and I believe Singletary was the 3rd round, correct? I think he was. I think the chat will correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
All of that stuff intertwined. Now, one of the things I like from an on-field perspective, like you said, if you want to go a 2-back set, I'm glad you brought it up. If you want to go to a 2-back set with Singletary and Moss, let's say you have your 5 linemen, 3-back set, 3 wide receivers, Diggs, Brown, and Beasley. You take Knox off the field just for a play because it's something we haven't seen. You got to put those new wrinkles in every once in a while. What we talked about last year on the Friday Film Room, which was so crucial, my brother talked about it. He said one of the best ways that you could protect your quarterback is to go, when you go 2-minute, is to go a split-back set. Number 1, it keeps the linebackers in because they don't know what they're going to have to do. Number 2, if they blitz, you have max 7 in protection, so your guys can get open that you want. If you have Brown, Beasley, and Diggs, those guys, right now, the combination routes that the Buffalo Bills ran last year, if you run them with Brown, Beasley, and Diggs, they're going to get open. They're going to find a spot. They're going to find a soft spot in the defense. If you want to put those 2 running backs in the backfield, you let me know. Linebackers in the AFC East, AFC West, NFC West, who can cover both of them? Usually you have one linebacker, it's a good coverage linebacker, and the other guy's not. All of this, like I said, we're playing with house money, is tailored so you have zero excuses for Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Two-back set, 3 wide receiver, Zach Moss not having to change the offensive philosophy when he comes in. You have zero excuses for Allen now because we said this before. You and I have talked about this. At the end of his 3rd year, you better know. Mm-hmm. Or else GM, head coach, quarterback, what's going to happen? They got to know by the end of the 3rd year. And I know I've been really huge on that, but I think what you do is you take excuses off the table for both. If you had them for Brian Daboll and you have them for Josh Allen, you have no excuses now.
Yeah, just add weapons, right? That's just all they did was they just went out and they just added weapons. They said, listen, our line is going to be what our line is.
Yep.
We're just going to keep that. They brought in a bunch of UDFAs for the offensive line, said, this is what we're going to do. I know that they had made a couple calls to move up in the draft, and one of them was for a tackle that actually got taken. But the interest was there to try and improve the offensive line a little bit, and it just didn't present itself. And that's fine. I think they still did a very good job of going in. Drafting 2 receivers was a surprise for me. That was a surprise. With as complicated as this offense is, that one was a little bit of a surprise for me. But when they didn't draft any offensive linemen and then signing 3 as undrafted free agents, that made complete sense.
Yes.
That made total sense for me because you need to keep, even though they just rebuilt that offensive line, Spain is not a spring chicken. Feliciano is not a spring chicken.
Hey,
You've got Deion Dawkins in a contract. We got Deion Dawkins in a contract year. Mitch Morris is, 1 concussion away from, being Eric Lindros.
Oh my God, he did.
And you got Cody Ford at right tackle right now. So I mean, the line is not in the best of shape, to be perfectly honest. Right? It's not ideal.
Lindros.
Yeah.
You're going straight to HE double hockey sticks. You absolutely are.
But I think it's smart for them to keep revisiting that offensive line, right? Because that's what they did. That's what they did this last season. They brought in Bates, right? They got, they got rid of Wyatt Teller and they just kept cycling guys. So like, listen, we're just going to keep cycling and we'll figure something out. We'll just keep bringing in guys and whatever sticks, whatever clicks, that will just stay for now. And we'll just figure it out. But I am still surprised that Le'Adrian Waddle is still not signed. Like, I know you've been banging that drum for a while.
I'm going to continue to bang that drum.
I know. I am still surprised. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the medicals. If the Bills know they're in no rush to sign him because nobody will touch him with, not really knowing what his medicals are right now.
They don't know the medicals. I would like... Personal feeling would be I would like to think that they're negotiating something and they're not releasing his medicals.
Mm-hmm.
Professionally is, okay, do they think he can still do it, especially with all of the additions that they brought in as well? Like, the additions that they have, do you feel that Bean and McDermott have a need for him now? And I don't know if the question to that is yes.
Yeah.
I would love him. But with the additions that you had, and we're going to make, what's his name again? The tackle that had the very unfavorable video come out about the combine that the Bills picked up. What was his name again?
Trey Adams.
Trey Adams.
Yeah.
Are we doing a video on him this week?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Now that you add a guy that similar injury history, but is a first-round talent. A lot of people would say he's a first-round. You guys are a monster.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's a need for Waddle now that you picked up these guys? Like before the draft, I could say, yeah, pick up Waddle. What's wrong with you guys? Now they're like, nah, we don't really need to.
I got a parlay over to Daniel Gary's. Darrell Williams replaces Le'Adrian Waddle. I think that's a great point. You look at the contract and you say that's a bit more of a commitment, right?
Yes.
Yes. I get that it's just on a one. It's just a 1 year deal, but it's a bit more of a financial commitment than what I would be comfortable paying for Le'Adrian Waddle. But again, it's a 1 year deal. Why? At this point, why not? I see a couple questions on the wide receiver position. Chuck Christopher, McKenzie, Duke, and Foster, are they all getting cut? Grendel says, "Is Foster? Did Foster get cut?" McKenzie, I think, just re-signed.
He did for 1 year.
Yeah, for 1 year, right? Okay. I think McKenzie still gives you value. You kind of have to look at it, and I've been saying this for a while. I think McKenzie, Foster, because of what they did with Foster last season, McKenzie, Foster, Andre Roberts, and Ray McLeod, you're getting one of them. That's it. There's only going to be space for so much. I think you're going to get one of them, right? Because they flashed Foster in that role that they used McKenzie in behind the line of scrimmage, and he took one to the house, basically, but then came up with like a hamstring. McKenzie was used a lot in that. They tried to use Andre Roberts and then realized that he simply doesn't know how to run a route. You have Ray
great
McLeod
blocker,
who just
though.
keeps. What?
He's a great blocker, though.
Andre Roberts? Are we
Yes.
talking about the same guy?
Yes, we are.
Is he biting people's ankles to block? Like, I don't
Are
understand.
you talking
what
about
mean by a great
McKenzie or
blocker.
Roberts?
No, you're talking about Roberts.
I know I'm talking about
Are you-
Roberts.
Are you sure we're talking about?
You didn't?
Okay.
Okay. I have film.
Okay.
I'll show you.
I would love to see this. Yeah.
I will
I'm
show
not-
you
I'm
the
not-
film.
I disagree, but I don't have. I've not spent hours staring at Andre Roberts on the field.
No, I know. But listen, there was a Friday film room that I went back to go check out, and it was with me and Mike. You weren't in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Roberts blocking down on a linebacker and opened up a hole for Singletary to run around the outside. As far as Roberts goes, just pulling up his contract that you see on your screen right now, #Nation, he is on the books for 2020. He's 32 years old. He will save 1.4 and have a dead cap of 600,000. His cap number is only 2 million. So it's if we're going on your point, Paul, if we're going on your point as far as you have McKenzie, you have Ray McLeod, who you love for some reason. You keep bringing him up every single time. You got Ray, and you got McKenzie as your returners.
Right.
Where's the need for an Andre Roberts?
Right. Yeah.
So he could be gone. He could, and then the talk will be for the next week. He was their only Pro Bowler. No,
Right.
Okay, we understand that. However, I believe about 7 or 8 members of #Nation were Pro Bowl alternates last year. So, I mean, which was the Pro Bowl to me. I don't get the Pro Bowl. However, if you want to be a Pro Bowler on the #Sports channel,
Oh, look at that!
Please do.
Oh, Olay!
pulling it out. But it was Shiva's Gold comes in, says Ray is out, and still says Ray. It's funny because you and I talked about this last year, and #Nation knows this as well. If you're good enough to make a 6-10 team, you may not be good enough to make a 10-6 team. We saw guys that were cut last year that contributed to a 6-10 team. We talked about Foster. Foster was one of those guys who contributed in 2018, didn't contribute in 2019.
Right.
Shady McCoy was in 2018, got cut before 2019.
Right.
So the spectrum that you have of guys getting, hey, DM Mag, thanks, buddy. Just tuned in. Thanks for the content catching up from the start. You got it, buddy. Thank you. So, hey, Tony B's here, too. So the spectrum that you have of the wide receivers that you now have, free agent versus drafted, I think is a huge thing because I talked about this with Hendog right before the broadcast, and I just want to bring this up. I got the numbers here. Okay, 14 of the top 15 players on the Bills on the books right now were free agents, not drafted.
Yeah.
The 15th highest guy is Josh Allen. 15th highest player on your team is Josh Allen.
Yep.
Now, of the 14 that are left that are above Allen, Hughes is the only guy they haven't picked up in free agency.
Yep.
Okay? Of the 13 guys that are left, of the highest paid players on the Bills, 6 of them have not played a snap for the Bills yet.
Yeah.
Is that insane to you?
Yeah.
That
Crazy,
that
isn't
means
it?
that some of your highest paid players on this team haven't even played a snap for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So if we take a look at it, like you got Morse, Diggs, Addison. So no, look at this: Diggs, Addison, Butler, Jefferson, Klein, Norman. Right before you get to Allen, 6 players that have not touched the field in a Buffalo Bills uniform yet are your highest paid players. So I just found that to be an absolutely interesting stat. I thought that was amazing. So, but I don't. I like about Roberts getting cut. I could see him getting cut. I could see Matt Barkley getting shown the door. I could see, well, not this year. I could see Hauschka getting shown the door. But then you could see this is how if you guys are of the mindset that say, all right, you trust the process. This is the process. You're going to lose guys that you became fans of, because that's what we do here in Buffalo. We grow attached to the players. So, you done typing to everybody?
Yeah.
Are we done?
We probably should get to recording our content for the rest of the week, which those of you who are part of, those of you who have the channel membership, you'll get a lot of those videos days before everybody else does. So that's kind of one of the cool things about, the different levels of membership, is that, you'll get all the content that we'll cut tonight whenever Mario decides to edit it, which is usually a few days early.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, I just wanted to remind everybody as well. Okay, for the 104 of you in here, thank you for joining Hashtag Nation. In the description, you're going to find our iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you go to our homepage, I just posted it in there as well. You go to our homepage if you want to become a member of one of the 5 levels: Practice Squad, 55-man roster, Pro Bowl, All Pro, or First Ballot Hall of Fame. The channel membership will have prices next to all those. 50% of everything that you give to the channel will be donated to the Punt Foundation. We can't thank you guys enough. We love the support that you guys give us, and the support that we're going to end up transferring that over to the Punt Foundation as well. So if you guys want to be, a member of the channel memberships, you get great perks. If you don't know what the perks are, go rewind the video to the beginning and you can see what all the perks are. You guys have made this channel what it is, and we can't be, we're so unbelievably happy that you guys contribute to us, and we want to give back to you guys as well. So we're going to go record our videos for this week. Be sure to hit that like button, share the video, do what you got to do. And I gotta go talk to Paul for another hour and a half, and then we're gonna have some episodes for you guys this week. If you are at least, I think it's a Pro Bowler. If you're at least a Pro Bowler and up, you get all the episodes right when I post them tonight. So make sure you get on that, and I will see Hashtag Nation when we see you. Right?
Yeah, that's it, guys.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see you.